Before Islam, life in Arabia was very challenging. The land was mostly vast, unforgiving desert. It was incredibly dry, and water was a precious, rare resource. Survival was the main focus for most people every single day. They had to constantly search for the means to live. This difficult environment shaped their way of life. It left little room for other pursuits. Formal education was not widespread. Literacy was not common in pre-Islamic Arabia. Knowledge was often passed down through spoken words. Rich oral traditions of poetry and storytelling were strong, but written texts were not for everyone. This limited how complex ideas could be shared. The deep learning that books allow was rare. Most people did not read or write. This meant ideas spread slowly and sometimes changed. The social climate was also quite harsh. People lived in tribes, and these tribes often had feuds. This period is sometimes called Jahiliyyah. This term can mean a time of ignorance. For many, the focus was on tribal loyalty and immediate needs. The systematic pursuit of knowledge was not a central goal. Daily life was filled with practical concerns. Rational inquiry was not a widespread practice. There were some forms of knowledge, of course. People knew about tracking animals in the desert. They understood the stars for navigation. This helped them travel across the wide sands. Basic maths was used for trade, but these were practical skills. They were not part of an organized system of education. There were no great schools or libraries for all. This set the stage for a profound change. Then, a new chapter began with the arrival of Islam. The Prophet Muhammad brought a message. This message started to change everything. The very first word revealed from the Quran was Iqra. This powerful word means read or recite. This was a direct command. It immediately showed the great importance of reading. It placed learning at the heart of this new faith. This was a revolutionary idea for that time. Islam quickly began to transform the approach to education. Mosques were not just for prayer, they also became important centers of learning. People were strongly encouraged to learn to read the Quran. This created a widespread desire for literacy. It was not just for a small elite group. Ordinary men and women wanted to learn. This drive for knowledge started to spread rapidly. This new emphasis on reading had a big impact. As more people learned, a new intellectual energy grew. Society began to shift. It moved from relying only on spoken traditions. People started to engage deeply with a written text. This sacred text, the Quran, invited reflection. It encouraged thoughtful study. This opened minds to new ways of thinking. It fostered a culture of inquiry. This change was truly radical for Arabia. Imagine a society where few could read. Suddenly, learning was promoted for everyone inspired by faith. This wasn't only about religious study, it was about a broader connection with knowledge. The act of seeking knowledge was seen as virtuous. Reading and understanding became acts of devotion. This laid a new foundation for the future. The Quran itself strongly encourages the search for truth. It repeatedly asks people to look at the world around them. It tells them to observe the signs in nature. One verse says, "Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of the night and the day are signs for those of understanding." Quran 3:190. This encouraged people to think. It promoted careful observation of reality. The Quran also places great value on using reason. It often poses questions to its readers, questions like, will they not then reflect, or will they not use their reason? These were not just rhetorical. They were invitations to think critically. Faith was not meant to be blind. It was to be supported by intellect and understanding. This encouraged a rational approach to life and belief. Prophet Muhammad also stressed the importance of learning. Many of his sayings, known as hadith, highlight this. He famously said, "Seek knowledge, even if you have to go as far as China." Another powerful saying is, "The ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr." These words elevated learning. They gave scholars a respected place in society. The pursuit of knowledge was highly valued. These teachings created a special atmosphere. Questioning and seeking evidence became important values. The search for truth was a religious duty. It was not just a pastime for a few. This intellectual environment was fertile ground. It prepared the way for a more systematic way of understanding the world. People were inspired to explore and to learn. This was a key step towards scientific thinking. This vibrant intellectual culture produced great thinkers. One was Ibn al-Haytham, also known as al-Hazin. He lived during the Islamic Golden Age. He was deeply shaped by these Islamic teachings. The teachings emphasized truth, observation, and checking facts. He studied many things, especially light and vision, but his method was truly groundbreaking for his time. He wanted to know how we see. Ibn al-Haytham developed a new way to find answers. He stressed the need for experiments. He believed in careful observation. He thought ideas or hypotheses must be tested. This was different from just accepting old writings. He questioned ancient Greek authorities. He insisted on proving claims with evidence. He did many experiments with light. His approach was systematic and rigorous. His scientific method was clearly linked to Islamic ideals. The Quran urged people to observe the world. The Prophet Muhammad encouraged seeking knowledge. These ideas provided the inspiration for his work. They gave an ethical reason for such inquiry. His desire to find truth was rooted in his faith. His meticulous experiments showed this commitment. He carefully recorded his findings. For others, this intellectual foundation was a gift to the world. Ibn al-Haytham's approach was a vital step. It helped lead to modern science as we know it. The principles of using evidence came alive. Experimentation became a key tool. Critical thinking was essential. These ideas were nurtured in the Islamic world. They later influenced the European Renaissance. It all started with the revolution of knowledge created by the Quran and Prophet Muhammad.